crowds.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to remember a couple of people asked me to record it, so I'm recording it. Okay, so today is the review for the beach scenes and street scenes. And a few people sent me street photography scenes, maybe 3, I think I have, or 4. And the rest were mostly beach scenes, either people who went to the beach that day, or in my case, I went afterwards, and other people who had, went into their archives and pulled some things. What I did was I divided it into sections. So one section was really hard to do. One section is the sand and the water. One section is just the water. I'm trying to remember because I left it inside. It's on the thing. One section is the beach, and so it's like and people kind of thing. And then one is miscellaneous. And then at the very end, I pulled 4 photos and edited them just so you could see again. I'm still begging you guys to pay a little attention to doing some really simple editing. And in this case, I used crop and that haze reduction thing that is in Photoshop Elements. And you'll see the difference on those. Okay. So, and one of them I straightened something. So that's important. Okay. So let's share the screen. Okay. You see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, hold on, let me just make this big enough for me. There we go. I can't believe I remember how to do that. It's like, oh, wow. Okay.
This PowerPoint.
Yes, it's a PowerPoint.
Okay.
Okay, so it's sand, land, and water. And we'll see what people did with this. Okay,
Well, that's
most of them I had the metadata for, but I think it's more, this session to me was more about composition and positioning yourself in a certain way, using leading lines, and how much sky do you put on, how much sand do you put on when you're capturing the image. So comments.
I love this.
Florida mountains.
I love the
It's
mountains.
definitely not here.
Yeah, definitely not here.
Not Lake Worth.
I
I
think
love the way the
call it
clouds go
minimalism.
off on a diagonal,
Yep.
and
Santa
there is a little bit
Monica.
of haze.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's unmuted. So take time, listen so that you know when it's open to speaking. Okay, so somebody said something about the diagonals. So there's a cloud diagonal that's going this way, another one that's going this way, and there's the water diagonal over
Right.
here,
Same one coming out.
which is really nice.
There's like 5 different sections, 3 of the water, because the way it's divided by the breaking water and the shades of the water, and then really 3 of sand, the really wet sand, the almost wet sand, and the drier sand. So it all converges. I think it's a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and the water is soft because the shutter speed is slow. It's a softer water instead of being, sharper, the way you would see if you had a faster shutter speed. It's what they call slow water.
I mean,
And
you
the
can even see the details in the people. I mean, look at this guy over here. You can see his face.
Well, that's why I don't really think that
Activities are interesting to look through, and everybody, there's little kids and there's people in the water and people enjoying this. It's a beautiful picture.
Anne, were you saying something?
I was going to say, if it was a slow exposure, you'd see more blur of the characters. I
But
think
it says it's 0.0263 exposure.
I'm not sure what, I know that's what it says, but yet all the people are pretty tack sharp.
That's true. Yeah,
So I'm
you're
just
right.
confused. It's confusing me. That's
Yeah.
all.
It is, you're right.
The phone and the exposure times on these phones, and
That's
the
right.
whole thing is just sort of a little weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
from a
have a
phone,
handle
okay.
on what I'm seeing with the statistics underneath, but it's very pretty.
Yeah, and I don't understand why the f-stop is so small. I thought when you do a landscape or
Should I go in the other room?
you need a long one.
What are you listening
You need a higher number to get everything sharp.
Can you pause it?
I'm gonna put you on mute. Okay. I'm sorry, Doris. Say the end of what you said.
I'm surprised it's a small number for the f-stop. Usually if you want everything sharp and you're doing a seascape or a landscape, you want a high number on the f-stop, right?
Yes, and I have no idea, but all the phone f-stops are low like that. So it must
Okay.
have something to do with the technology in the phone.
Okay,
Yeah.
Except, yeah, and I'm gonna experiment because I want to see what happens when you put it on portrait mode and then look at what it says the f-stop is for that. That would sort of be interesting. Now that
that
I'm
f-stop-
portrait mode.
With that f-stop, you'd imagine the background will be blurred. It should
Exactly.
be a shallow depth
Yeah.
of field.
Yeah,
Yeah, nothing makes sense to me with the,
well, if you use another camera app, you can make the settings yourself. And then you take one with the original camera, the normal camera app that comes with it, and then try a different one and see what happens when you change the shutter speed and the other, and some
Right.
other camera app.
Yeah,
Does it make a difference? It's a beautiful picture.
yeah, it is a
Just have
beautiful
great
picture.
Right. Yeah.
People, just so you know, you should start thinking about pictures for the photography show. So for those of you that put pictures into this slideshow and into the one we did last time, and we'll have one more before the, actually, we're not going to do a review session for the lights, but we will do a review session for the signs. So, really start looking at your pictures and deciding what you want to submit to the photography show. Sorry, advertising. Okay, comments. There's another phone with a shallow depth of field number.
mhm,
It's got a pretty curvature of the line coming around the bend, leading you out to the horizon. A lot of diminishing perspective between the water, the horizon, the sand, and the landscape, all meeting out at that point. It's very pretty.
Yes, and a nice level horizon.
Yeah.
Not everybody nailed that.
Nice color.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah, it's very
Nice
pretty.
tack sharp.
Yes.
Nice texture in the sand and the grass.
Colors are good.
Yeah. I like the fact that this was shot so that the tent where the people are lying down underneath is facing in the direction towards a diminishing perspective down the beach. So your eye is not disturbed by the fact that their view is what your view is.
Right, you're watching them watch everything.
Yep. Very pretty.
Very nice. Okay. All right, and in some of the cases I put, if the subject was similar but handled slightly differently, I put them together. And then in some cases, I also looked at them separately. So in this case, I did both. I put them together. And then in the next two slides, you'll get a chance to see them individually. So because this one was modified with software to be a little bit more a caricature kind of thing, a little creative. This one was not.
Yeah.
One's an iPhone and one isn't.
Top one is a phone, and the bottom one is not.
I
The
think
top one that
is
says
too
Sony is a
saturated.
phone?
The top one is an iPhone.
Oh, I'm
XS.
sorry, I wasn't looking up there, sorry.
The top one is too saturated. It needs to take away some saturation. It's too much.
Where do you
Blue.
think it's too saturated? The sand color is nice.
The sand color is nice, but the blue is overly blue in the sky. It doesn't seem natural.
See, and I think the blue is very much what you do see at certain times of the day down
Right.
there, especially when the
Okay,
sun's not
all right, I'll
blowing
take
it out.
your word.
I think it's very rich, pleasant color.
Yeah, it really is true that the teal turquoise that you get later on in the day. I don't know what time it was shot, but the color in the afternoon would be exactly like that.
What about what about choosing to put everything right in the middle in this image? People
Maybe
like that?
different- And maybe a different angle. There's a little bit of an angle on the one at the bottom, and the one on the bottom is offset. So that compositionally wise is a better composition, yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Just if the photographer had wanted to either just swing the camera a little bit differently or just move your feet and walk to one side or the other, just to get maybe a little more behind to the left and then have the angle of the chair is just a little bit more, so you would almost see the front of the chair a little bit too.
So this is a really good example of taking several pictures. Like if the photographer had just walked along and taken 3 or 4 shots from different angles, then when they got home, they could see which one was more appealing. I think this is fine, but I'm just saying it would have given more options to see if another angle was a little bit different, a little,
Yeah.
gave a little bit more dimension to the chairs.
Okay, let me talk about, that's my photo.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Eva. This is my iPhone shot. One of the things I love is the water. I love to enhance the blue, and that's what I did in that shot. I also want to talk, you just said it was too much in the middle. Well, the umbrella is off to the right and the chairs are off to the left. So in my opinion, it is a picture that I wanted and I edited to look the way I wanted. Thank you.
There's nothing wrong with that. And if you notice what I said, I asked whether people thought it was too much in the middle. It's the subject that's in the middle. Has nothing to do with whether it's the chairs you're talking about or the umbrella. We're talking about the whole entire subject being more in the middle. Because in this one on the bottom, the umbrella is in the middle, but the subject, the entire subject is off to the side. So that was the conversation. I want to show you them separately. That's that one. So it's nice and sharp.
Very short.
I like the fact that the beach is so walked on and used.
A lot of
And that, look,
texture.
I didn't even notice it before, but there's a person over here.
You know, I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would crop that out.
I don't know.
You could clone it out in
I just see Lane.
Photoshop.
I see like
Content
shoot-
aware.
And I will say this, just because it's a good thing for everybody shooting with the phones because of the show coming up. If you were to crop that out, you would start losing a little bit of pixels. Now, it's not a big crop, it's a little crop, and the picture, if it hasn't been cropped already, would tolerate that. If you crop too much of a picture to clone something out with your iPhone, just be careful of it when it comes time to try to not lose a resolution in it. So I probably would clone it out for that reason and keep the
Clone it,
size.
yeah. Spot heal it or clone it. Or
Yeah, very pretty
content, or
picture, though.
content aware.
I want to point out something about the color, everyone. If you look at the sea is striated with different shades of blue. And if you look at the umbrella is also shown with 3 different color blues.
Yeah.
Even though this is an iPhone camera, and for all of you who know me, know I only take iPhone shots, sometimes you can walk by something and only take one image and it hits the mark and then you go on, take some other. I reviewed all my photographs and I just thought this was a pleasing shot of seaside in Florida.
It's very pretty.
Thank you. Okay. And that I think is also beautiful. Whoever did that, it's just so soft, so beautiful.
The only
Thank
thing
you.
the only comment I have on this one is there are a lot of artifacts along the edges that
Oh, yeah. Aberration.
you know, whatever you did, whatever you used to do this,
Yeah.
there's like telltale markings of it. It's sort of interesting. It
Dramatic
looks like
aberration.
watercolor because look at over here. I wouldn't expect that over here. What did you use, Ira?
Photoshop has something called neural filters. And the different filter does different things. And I wanted it to look like Impressionism.
Yep.
And that's what I did. So I took out, as you are aware, I took out the chairs and the umbrella, changed the background, and then put back the chairs and umbrella. But you're right, there's a little bit of blue around some of that.
Yeah, at this part of the chair, and look over here on the umbrella.
Halo.
Yeah, when you do these things, you have to really blow it up and look at the edges of everything, you know, where the transition points, because there's got to be a way to do that without having all of that.
Also, the bottom, the sand is 2 different colors.
Down here, yeah, It's green.
Sand is multiple colors.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't mind all that because this isn't supposed to look like a photograph. It's supposed to look like an impressionistic painting. So all those shades of blue in different colors just kind of feel like it's the artist's interpretation to me.
I agree over here in this area and I agree at the bottom, David,
for the
but I
white.
do
Yeah.
not agree over here.
Yeah, the whites.
I agree with you,
Yeah.
Adrian.
Yeah. So, and it certainly is, you know, when you take a lot of time, that's one of the reasons I don't do that much of this, because you have to take a lot of time to do it right. So, but it's, I think you're going down the right path. I think it's gorgeous.
Treatment's pretty, yeah.
Yeah. Nice choice of things to do.
Nice
Nice.
documentary.
Mhm.
I would take out on the left that shadow of whatever it is, that vertical shadow
I
that doesn't
tried to
belong
crop it
there.
out, didn't, I thought it was cropped out.
Yeah. And there's one on this side
Right on the
also.
right.
Yeah, that's
in the
one
middle.
also there. And there's one on the bottom,
In the middle.
right, that you can draw a selection around and do content aware, replace by content aware.
There's also something really odd that I noticed. I looked at this picture a couple of different times. See right here, can you see that? There's like a line.
Line.
What is
Maybe
that
his lens
from?
wasn't clean.
No, it's just sort of odd.
Maybe it's a shadow of the umbrella pole.
Oh, you know what?
That could be.
That
that-
very
that-
well could be.
Yeah, could be.
Didn't think of that. Yeah, but it's a nice composition.
Yes.
There's just enough color in the umbrella. You'll see what I did with this one. I used that haze removal on this one. Where do you see the difference?
I tried about 5 or 6 different angles on that one.
Yeah, I think this is good because you can see a little bit of his face and it's very real. Okay, these are Virginia and Zev. They're not here. I think Virginia has some kind of these are from this one anyhow, is from some kind of archive that she has. I don't know what's going on with this picture, but it's the quality of the image is not good. It may have been an older phone that she was using. But I have to talk to her about that because,
It needs cropping from the bottom. There's too much ocean.
well, I just don't think there's enough pixels because you can't even at this size with no cropping. There's all kinds of stuff going on in here when you make it bigger. But yes, for the visual of it, it would look better with this part of the ocean cropped
And that
off.
would be the problem.
Actually,
If-
make it horizontal. It's better to make it horizontal than vertical.
Right, but if she chooses and you work with her, Adrian, to crop, let her be aware that if she crops off that kind, we're talking about a couple of inches off the bottom as I see it,
Right.
which just doesn't add anything or any value to the picture. But if she, except the color tonality is there a little bit. If she crops that off, that'll kill her with the resolution totally when she tries to submit.
Yeah.
If she crops the picture that much with an iPhone.
And the one on the left, the building is crooked. So that
Yes,
kind of,
so is the horizon. It just
Yes,
needs straightening.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
that's-
a little straightening and that can be done easily on the phone.
Because this is totally crooked and it probably is exactly the same amount crooked. You know, sometimes in a vertical, it's not the same amount, like you straighten the horizon and then the vertical is no good. But this one to me
And
looks
then you
like the
lose the
whole thing
building.
is the
I
same
like
amount.
The kite up in the sky and the white with the dark kite. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Just add something. It's pretty. You can see it's got some clarity. You can see the pictures of the people down below with the kite. It's got some detail in it. Just has to be straightened on the horizon a little bit. And
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
a little contrast to it might help.
Maybe crop off some sand in the front, a little bit too much sand.
Okay. Yeah, all kinds of things that he can try.
There's haze, a lot of haze in this.
Yep, that's what haze removal is for. I did this one too. You'll see at the end.
The colors in the sea.
Okay.
Beautiful shadows in the deep coming into the
I think it
shadow.
needs a little more sky, a drop more sky.
A little tight up there.
The
Yeah, in
sky's a
here.
little too shallow. Another another maybe half an inch of sky.
Okay, we'll find out. He can look back and see if he has an original on this or another shot that he took that day where it gives him a little bit more headroom for this tower.
It's kind of tight.
I actually think that you could take a little bit off either side, because I would not take too much off the left side because I like that triangle. I like that the line in there, but it's just a little bit over there and a little bit off the right. I think that doesn't add value to it. Everything is happening really in the middle, and the outsides don't have that much to it.
So a little off of this side, like
Just
we
a
don't
shade
need this.
off that. You
street,
still
'cause-
need that nice diagonal there, that nice
Right,
triangle.
this.
So
in
I
here.
wouldn't take too much of that off there. And the right side, I think you could come in, to that.
Oh,
right about
sorry.
there. Yeah. That's about where I think that crop needs to be.
Yeah, so you want to leave these rocks and maybe leave
Yes.
this part of the wave, but take off a little bit over here.
And then you have to watch what happens with the resolution.
Yeah.
Sometimes with the iPhone, you just have to get it right.
I
Pretty
think this
picture.
is beautiful.
Pretty
Yes, this
picture.
is nice.
I think the color is gorgeous.
I
I
do too.
love the soft focus of the waves and the sharpness of the stuff on the beach. And just kind of imagine that someone is in the water and left it all. I think it's beautiful.
I do too.
Beautiful.
Nice aperture,
Beautiful
nice
frame.
color.
Yep.
A 10. It's a 10.
Yeah, that's a 10. That's really pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah, colorful bag for sure.
Yeah.
I like the being off center.
Whose is it?
Mine.
Good.
Oh, beautiful job. I like what you did with the frame also.
Thanks. It was hard to find a red that didn't clash with this, because the bag is a pinky red and this is a
Gentle.
darker red. And then I didn't want to have a third red, so I kept changing it until it looked like it was pretty
You
okay.
could pick one of those reds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how you do it, but there's a way to
Use the
pick one of
eyedropper
those
tool
reds.
to pick it.
Yeah.
Use the
Yeah.
eyedropper tool to pick it.
Oh, I have to learn how to do that. Because I do this frame in Picasa. And it's just, you just choose the red. But you can move the arrow along and the red will change tone right there in position. So it was pretty easy to do it.
Beautiful.
Adrian, I didn't see you last week. Did you do this in another time?
I went
slot?
another day when
Mhm.
when you guys went, I didn't think I'd make it on the beach. So I went another day, and I remember Anne saying one time she just sat on the beach and the birds just came to her and she got all these great shots. That's what I did, because I couldn't really walk around. So I sat on a chair and shot what was at that level, from that level. And there was so many things to see, the pigeons and the shells and the things that people left behind and the backs of chairs. I got maybe 100 shots just from sitting on
Wow.
that chair.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
it's a good thing to do.
It's a beauty.
Mhm.
This little girl looked like she was having a lot of fun.
Same little girl.
Yeah. So one thing when you're shooting kids, and I have this problem all the time with relatives who send me pictures of their grandkids, and this is not true about the beach because these are not your kids. But when you're shooting children, you have to be at their level or lower. You can't really do that at somebody else's kids, so you don't want to call attention to yourself. But in general, if you're shooting your grandchildren or nieces or nephews or whatever, you don't want to be shooting the tops of their heads. You want to be down at, like, this would be great from sitting on the beach, so that you could see her expression from the front and a little bit more of her face. But these are adorable. They're just adorable.
She was a cutie. There were 3 or 4 little ones down there that morning that were cute.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that you caught all this sand on her tush and the water, running over her arms and legs. It's just really, really nice.
That's my picture, but it's not my metadata. I don't have a Panasonic.
Oh, that's weird. That's
Uh-huh.
what came out. I wondered about
Um,
that.
I have Samsung camera, not phone.
Well, interesting to see if if the other one came out with the wrong metadata.
Okay.
Also. Oh, and
Adrian,
Andy, You want to, Ann, do you want to say why your numbers are crazy like this?
Yeah, if anybody did notice the numbers are
I
not.
did.
Because I was looking at, I was really down there, I don't want to miss birds in flight. In order to shoot birds in flight, you can't have a shutter speed less than 1/1600.
Right.
And that's just the cardinal rule for shooting birds in flight. So then, obviously, therefore, to keep my ISO, to keep the exposure right, you have to bounce that ISO up a bit. So the shutter speed dictates everything. So, but it doesn't change the fact that you can shoot anything, at that level. There's no compromise to the exposure when you set it up
Right.
that way. So.
And I'm surprised that it looks as low down as it is because I shot that from up on the pier. And
Really?
zoomed in on the girl on the beach.
Well, you
Wow.
had a lot of distance between the pier and to where she was. So
Okay,
the angle really plays a lot into that. If you were closer to her, then it really would be a lot more obvious. So,
Right, you'd be more like at that, like
Yeah.
here.
yep.
So, because this angle came from way out farther, you've got a little bit more.
right.
Okay, so then a lot of people either shot the pier this time or took pictures of the pier other times.
Beautiful.
Mm.
Gorgeous.
How early in the morning, Ann?
Dawn,
God,
half
Dawn.
hour before the sun came up.
look at the
love
birds
But
down
you have to
here.
put that in
Yeah.
blue light and then take,
That's gorgeous.
yeah, the long exposure will make everything that walks in front become ghost-like. So, and that was a 30-second exposure.
And a tripod, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm,
you got to lug the gear.
mhm.
Some days,
Love
you
it.
do, some days you don't. Depends upon the clouds.
it's just so pretty.
Color is great.
I
too.
love it, Ann.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's probably what I love to shoot the most.
How do people feel about black and white for the ocean and the sky?
Oh, I feel cold.
That's interesting.
I think this one emphasizes the pier more. I think the other, it's just like the picture before was the smooth water and it looked so peaceful and everything. And here the pier looks more gritty and uneven. And I think it's more about the pier here than about the water. For me.
More about the
This is your
textures.
It
Yeah.
looks grainy to me. I can't, because I'm a little confused with, I don't think it's the black and white. I agree with David. It does add more detail and more texture to the pier. But I also see a kind of a grain or a noise to it in the water. And I don't know. I'm looking at, because the ISO is 6400. That would be why. So you're going to get grain when you're shooting that
Yeah, a
high
little bit.
ISO.
Oh, Evie's here. She got home.
Mm.
Oh, that's nice.
Saw her.
I just couldn't believe that you get a reddish pinkish, thing in here, which just pops.
I tried to shoot her feet
Huh?
to do something funny, but the waves weren't cooperative.
Love the colors.
Yeah, I really like this.
And I also like the shadows under the pier.
Yep.
All here.
There's a nice pattern there.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
can actually see the pilings, the reflection of these pilings all in
Mhm.
here.
I
I
like
like
the
the-
treatment.
the
It seems
meeting-
right. Oops, sorry.
I was gonna mention the birds grouping up on top of the one awning. Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah,
There's a softening look to the pier where normally it would look rough. It has, I don't know what treatment was used, but it softened the look of the rock of the pier and the concrete.
Down here, you're talking about?
If you look on all the posts and
All of
stuff,
the pier.
the pole.
Oh,
the
I
whole
see what you- yeah.
pier looks too soft for a real pier.
Yeah, as compared to, let's say, the picture before, if
Right.
you look at all the detail and the nitty gritty in the pier and the different colors and shades and textures.
Yeah, it's not
totally
a
different look.
criticism, it's just an
Observation.
artistic
Yep, yep.
treatment. But
Right.
I actually like it, and it has a little bit more painterly look to it.
It's very pretty. Very serene.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
Especially
also
the character
I thought it was more whimsical because of hers there with her striped bathing suit and her hot pink floaty. It just took it to whimsical as opposed to here where I'm thinking moody and structural. It's just interesting to me how the same components make you
But,
feel so
um,
different.
Adrian, the black and white evokes a very interesting emotion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Victory at
And
sea.
that we have, I mean, I imagine someone is on that pier in a very sad mood. I mean, this really evokes, I think, an emotion.
Yeah.
I agree. And
It
my
gives a
emotion
sense of-
here, my
it gives a
emotion here is
sense
to
of
giggle.
roughness.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And the metering is different on the color one, which is matrix, which is, oh, the other term is on the Canon matrix is not, what are they called? Evaluative.
Right.
It's evaluative versus spot metering. You get a different
Even,
look. with it.
even the piers on this one, the black and white, look tired.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how they got that. The pilings look,
I mean, the pilings.
not the pilings, but whatever's holding up.
Yeah,
the-
Yeah, that's what that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
yeah,
they,
Pilings.
they look much more crooked in this one than they do in the other.
yeah.
Some of it also has to do with the tide. And if the tides are lower at the time of day when the picture was shot, the pilings are wetter down below, which gives them more of a black, dark appearance below the line of where the water was. And it does have like a kind of a mean look. It has a look of a moody, turbulent kind of
Yeah.
scene. Not peaceful at all.
No.
No.
It could have been windy.
Yep.
This one doesn't have that part that you're describing as crooked.
That's right.
Right, it's right before that.
I think something is also depends on where you're standing compared to the pier, like what angle you're shooting it at.
Or you can see
Go
Absolutely.
back, Adrian.
by
Can you
the
go back?
awnings.
Go back for a second. If you look at this pier, and Adrian, if you take your pointer, it's a much longer point of view.
Right.
The other one
Mhm,
starts there in the middle.
Yeah,
So
like
you're not
here.
seeing- you're
Even
not-
farther,
Right,
closer to the overhang.
correct.
Yeah.
Where the focal point was much further out. So
And it
this-
looks straighter over there. The piling looks straighter over there.
Yeah.
Right.
I
There's a
think the
curve
whole
in that,
frame,
there's a
you look
curve in that
up when
pier
you
up
see you're
there.
angled out.
Yeah.
This is a much longer focal length.
Contrast
here's-
on that one
here's the
could be
red
adjusted a little.
Correct.
Here's the red sign. And I think it's right over here, the sign.
Yep. And if you go to the next one, which is interesting, the next one was shot at a very long focal length with an iPhone. Gets Benny's in all the way out. That's the longest shot I've seen with an iPhone yet, with the pier on a nice angle.
Yeah.
It
Nice
looks
wide
like
angle.
It looks
With a
like it goes on
real-
forever.
Yeah, a diminishing perspective where the end of the pier just disappears out into oblivion. I mean, with the little red flag that's
Yes.
just there catching you, it makes the picture.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting composition as far as the focal length. And the angle that it was, the angle that it was shot at. It's interesting,
Amazing how sharp that picture is.
Yeah.
Yep.
beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nice straight in the back, the horizon is straight.
Yep,
Was this taken with a tripod?
nope. I didn't take it, but I know who did. It was taken with a iPhone, just, no.
Whoever it was, very steady hands.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you don't need steady. at that fast shutter speed, right?
This is a fast
Yeah.
shutter speed.
Yeah, you don't need steady hands with a
Right.
fast shutter speed.
Yeah.
It was with an iPhone, as we said.
And just a touch of a little, the horizon straight out there, so it's just very pretty. Yeah, I like the focal length on it.
You can
Thank you.
have a very fast shutter speed that day we were there because the sun was so bright.
Yeah, I like the shadow underneath the pier too.
Mhm. The only thing I don't like is the seaweed.
Over here.
Mhm.
So we got to go with a rake next time, huh?
Clone it out.
I don't think so.
This is from the other side.
See, if the horizon was straightened, the bridge would be straightened, everything would come down at the.
And the kid will fall on his head.
Right.
Yeah.
Adrian, do you know what it was shot with?
Yeah.
This is
my
Marty.
camera. It's a
Okay.
T success.
I
Canon
couldn't
T
tell what
success.
the camera was on it, yeah. Just needs a touch to drop down the horizon, a little more contrast.
Well, I made the stupid mistake of not checking the settings before I started shooting.
Yeah. Because this is not, the people are not even sharp. I don't know what settings this was at because I couldn't grab the metadata.
Well, sometimes it's also where the focal point is. Like,
Yeah.
You decide to focus, what are you focusing on, the bridge or the people, you know?
I think he was shooting into the sun because everything that I took from the left side of the pier didn't come out good, but from the right side, the sun was behind me.
There's
Could
a
be
lot of
right,
things to remember.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Very pretty.
Love the texture of the water
Yes,
and the colors, just beautiful. And the angle of the, under the pier looking out. And the shadows of the.
Love the
pylon.
shadows.
Yeah, this is really,
Shadows coming across, just make that, with the light on the side of the piling on the left.
Mhm.
and there's still lots of detail out here in the bright area. It's so easy to lose that. And all the way back here,
Isn't it funny too, as you go down the pilings and look out to the left at the end, the pilings are almost white on the inside.
Mhm.
And yet, as you come up with, there's a lot more beach activity and the rolling waves crash up. The pilings always have that wet, soggy, dark and light textured look. Funny. Wow,
nice job.
very pretty.
Okay, so this is water and other.
I like your category.
Oh, I like
It's
oh,
interesting,
look at that,
water and snow.
very interesting.
and snow.
Just all the lights bouncing off the water
I've never seen that in real life.
with the highlights.
Oh,
I've
I
seen it. It's sometimes hard to capture. I don't know if that's a treatment.
No, it's not.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's hard to capture. You can see it, but it's you really got to allow your camera to shoot the whites and the highlights up very high to capture it. It's very pretty. Just a
Yeah.
nice look.
That'd be an iPhone, right?
No, it was not.
It's very
Okay,
pretty.
But it was just that the water was really sparkling. And it actually was a really fast shutter speed,
Yeah,
just to capture that sparkle.
very unique, David. It's very, very,
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
love it.
And it wouldn't be anything without the boat.
Right.
Right.
No, it'd be nothing without the boat. The
Right.
boat's one.
Oh, it'd be a
so-
nice abstract painting.
So is this minimalistic?
yes,
I think so. Don't you?
We don't have Harvey and Carl here.
Oh, to argue about it.
Yep. With the negative space. Oh my God.
The boat seemed to be very well placed in the photograph as well.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Coming forward, yep. Pretty. Nice frozen splashing of the water, nice shutter speed up there to do it. Pretty colors of the water. I love the
Beautiful
photo.
picture. It
Yeah.
needs to be cropped a little bit from the left.
Like
Yeah,
take
that
out
red
some
piece.
of this.
You have that red piece on the bottom at the side. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a
Oh,
smudge,
just
a
crop that
smudge of
off.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they wanted
Big
to
rock.
save the V on the top left.
Say again, I'm sorry. This,
The, there, yeah, maybe that's why they didn't want to crop it off.
oh, because you would have lost the bottom of the V.
Yeah.
Well, you got a couple of other V's down, but the emphasis on this to me is the foam
Yeah,
hitting.
right in here. It's
the rock.
unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like some of the drops are closer to the camera than others, so it looks three-dimensional there.
Oh, for sure.
Very
Very
cool.
pretty.
How would it have been if it was cropped from above the spot on the left? And you're not seeing those small rocks on the bottom left? Just
talking
wondering
about-
about your opinion on that.
To just take off this whole bottom edge.
I
Yes,
take off the left edge.
I take off the left edge too.
And leave this
I like the front here at the bottom right.
over here. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a foamy. It's sort of a mixture of slow water and fast water. It's like,
Yeah, where the big rock is up on the left, I don't know that it's adding an awful lot of value to the picture. Just, it doesn't need a big crop, but just a little crop off the left, I think would have to
Right.
see it to look at it.
I agree.
Have to see it to look at it. It's very pretty though.
Nice.
Beautiful.
That's gorgeous.
That's
Yeah.
Full
mine.
exposure, yeah.
Looks like
It was taken a long time ago.
Yeah,
That's
and
nice.
that's slower exposure, yeah.
But I love that the rocks are sharp and the water is just, almost impressionistic itself.
This
Textures
could have
and
been
diagonal
hand.
lines in the rocks, just all kinds of different lines in those rocks.
Mhm.
yeah,
I think I used the neutral density filter. It was
Yeah.
on a tripod.
Very pretty.
yeah. I mean, some of these rocks are just gorgeous. Look at this.
Mhm.
And both
Here.
these two weren't taken in Delray. There's no rocks.
Yeah,
No,
No
this is
rocks
the,
in
this
in
is-
Lake Worth either.
no, this is the beach in between the Lake Worth Pier and Delray Beach. There's a beach that has a pier. You can walk on, small pier. I forget what it's called. It's up in Boynton.
The inlet? Is it the Boynton Inlet?
Yeah, the inlet, yeah.
Yep. It's always nice to have rocks.
yeah. It's really pretty.
Ooh. That's
Wow,
cool.
I
This
feel
almost looks like you're underwater.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Feels like somebody was standing on the rock, maybe.
I think this is mine, and I was standing on the rocks. Is this mine, Adrian?
I think so. Hold on.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was standing on the rocks and it was really rough.
so that water was coming straight up.
Precarious.
The water was coming up at you.
It
Yes.
looks a bit rough, yep. Wow.
I'm glad you have good balance.
Me too.
You were
I
looking
wanna know-
down?
Did your camera get wet?
No,
Barbara, were you looking down
um,
or out?
I think I was on a higher rock. This is at Coral Cove. I
I was
think I
gonna
was,
say Coral Cove, a blowing rock. That's where you had to be to get that angle.
yeah, I think I was standing on a higher rock and then the water came up like that.
Where is that place?
I can run fast.
Coral Cove has more jagged rocks like that with the points. Blowing Rock has got a little bit more flat on the top of some of them. So yeah.
That's
Where is
north,
that? In
that's all
Florida?
north of here.
Yeah, Florida.
Yeah, it's up by Jupiter.
Mhm.
Both of them are up there.
I really like how the water is from the left and then curving and giving you a whole curve to surround the rock.
It's like this.
Yeah, really pretty.
There it is. Had to be fun to shoot.
Where is this?
It's in Jupiter.
Like the black and white.
Really
Explosion.
nice.
Yeah,
Now that's a sharp black and white with incredible contrast.
Yep.
That is a beautiful photograph.
Thank
Yep.
you.
I mean, it almost looks like you're on the moon or something. Look at
Yeah.
all these. Like
And you got wet that
volcanic
day,
looked.
right? You were wet that day.
Yes, I was wet. Yes.
You were all wet. Yeah, it was a fun day.
Yes.
Good shoot. Time to go back.
Yeah, I would go back up there.
It's
Looks
You
fun.
get
great.
better and better at it. You just have to keep going back and looking and trying and seeing it differently. Crazy rocks are nutty.
I
Really
never
cool.
heard of it. Maybe we can have a trip there one day.
Really, really nice up there. Is that where Coral Cove or were you at the other?
It's
Were
Coral
you at
Cove.
Blowing
That
Rock?
was Coral
Okay.
Cove.
Yeah, it's nice.
Mhm.
Cute.
Nice job with that.
Yeah, really nice. Having the ball in his mouth was just perfect.
The water dripping. The
Yeah,
water's dripping
just
off.
perfect.
Didn't even
I don't
notice
know if,
until
I
after
don't
the
know if
fact.
the people do anything for the picture. The
Yeah.
picture
Yeah.
is the dog.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Well, you should have asked the dog to move.
I think you come in closer on the dog and eliminate the people. That's my
Well,
opinion.
Nancy gave me a cropped version,
I did do it on the crop, right?
but it was all pixelated. It didn't
Oh.
have enough pixels. I don't know why. It was all pixelated.
I was actually surprised when I took the picture that the ball was there. I didn't even notice it.
It's good.
That's what happens when everyone else walks one way and I walk the other way.
I just think that the detail in the mouth and the teeth and how much you can actually see is just pretty amazing.
Yeah, he's definitely the subject of the picture.
Oh, yeah.
Mans, how many megapixels does the camera shoot?
Don't ask me tough questions.
Okay.
You can add pixels in Photoshop Elements. It's easy.
Well, then the other option is you could just clone the people out, just take them out with content to wear, make them go away.
You can add like layers in Photoshop also, and that pads the pixel count.
Yep.
That's harder though.
Yeah. I mean, there's certainly enough information to make a good image because you have all this stuff down here and you have this foamy stuff here. So cutting it here like that would still be a really interesting picture. It just didn't have enough pixels. So it's worth trying to add and see what we
Yeah.
get. Okay.
Was that done at Lake Worth? I didn't think
Yes,
dogs were
that's
allowed.
because when you went to the beach, everybody walked right and we walked left.
So there's a place where they allow dogs?
I don't know if he was allowed.
She was not the
brought there.
police.
Nobody told the dog.
I have no idea if he was allowed.
That's nice.
Funny.
It's all, this is
Oh, class.
also could like use a little cropping here, but I don't know if you can see it, but just like this is Virginia's again, just like that other picture, there's like this artifact, maybe it's HD and HDR. I don't know what it is, but there's some kind of artifact that's all over this image,
She
all
has
over
a
these
fairly
people.
new Samsung though, doesn't she?
But this might be an old picture. That's all I'm
Maybe.
thinking.
Maybe, but yeah, it could be because there are artifacts everywhere on it. And the color's not.
Yeah.
rich.
It's
something wrong.
oversaturated.
Yeah, it is. It's very weird.
So I have to talk to her about what's going on with
There's
this.
noise all over it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to look at the settings on that and see what, maybe there's a filter or something on it.
What kind of camera is a Micron?
Yeah. It's my typo camera. Another one I spelled Canon.
I own a lot of typos.
I have the Canon I spelled with 2 N's in one of the pictures.
I saw that,
I
yeah.
noticed.
That's a Canon that you shoot, not pictures.
I think that's great, his arm and to his hand with the water coming down.
Right, and he has more room in front of him, so we know which way he's going.
Yeah,
This was again from being seated on the really low, almost on the sand. So that I could get like a horizontal image of him in the water. If you shoot that from above, it doesn't look the same.
He
hard
looks
to
like
get the
he's gonna
face.
Inhale a mouthful of water
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like his purple glasses.
from the angle with the purple. Yeah, it's cool.
Mhm.
I love this.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
That's nice.
I wonder if somebody really left their shoes there or somebody set it
They
up that
did.
way.
Eva and I both saw them. They were there. We eyeballed them and smiled. They were a perfect prop.
So the people just walked away doing something
That's-
barefoot.
Well, maybe they were down on the beach and coming back for an after. I don't know, but they were there the whole time.
Didn't even touch them. Did you have your scent like this too, Anne? Did you have yours? Or
Yeah.
you chose yeah, so we'll see yours as well, right?
No, I didn't put it in because I knew you were gonna
Oh.
put it in because you told me you were fascinated by them and you're
Yeah.
going there, so I didn't go there.
I actually saw it from the pier. I saw you nearby, and so I went down there, and you and I spoke, and you said you'd already seen that, and I was just fascinated because they were just so natural.
Right.
Just the way somebody dropped them.
Yeah, they were a perfect composition. Was sitting there waiting for that.
To nitpick a little bit, I might crop off those 2 trees on the upper left.
Over here.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
You're
would.
right. You're
I
right.
would.
Yeah, they're not adding anything.
No, I wouldn't crop them. I would just content aware them out.
You could.
That way you don't lose the, otherwise you're gonna make it too close to the sandals when you crop.
Well, I don't think so, but it's worth playing games with.
Right.
I could try. I have to
Yeah.
tell you that I made many versions of this. I also recolored it many different ways. And then I went
Yes.
back to the original and I said, I just want to leave it natural.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's
And I'm
perfect.
gonna say the same thing I said before, and I know I'm driving it home because I know what's happening as we're going down to the show. Pretty picture. You're better off toning or content aware or doing those kinds of things when you're dealing with the iPhones or the smartphones, the Samsungs, because you keep the pixels. That's all I'm gonna say, because the other way, when you start cropping those pixels, you just don't have the same quality of the resolution when we put it on the screen for the judging. So just keep that in mind.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
is this, I'm sorry, is this going to be the same in the 13 Pro? Because supposedly the camera is different. It has 3 lenses and are you, with that too, do you feel
Still
that
it's still 12 megapixels.
it's all about the pixels?
Yep.
So
Well,
what
it's
you're
about,
suggesting is don't crop it if you don't have to.
Right, try to get it right the first time, but if you have to take something out, try content aware, try to clone before you start cropping. And if you crop a little, don't crop a lot. If you have to crop a lot, find another picture or move your feet and shoot it differently. Take a lot of pictures so you get a lot of different angles so that you're not screwed when you have to crop a lot.
Thank you.
Ira, you were going to say something?
well, it was too technical. Don't worry about it.
No, Ira, I want to hear, please. Ira, I
Well-
want to hear
well,
what
It's not only the pixels, it's also the sensor size. The problem with the cell phones is that it has a small sensor.
Yep.
And you put a lot of pixels on a small sensor and they're small pixels. So they go hand in hand.
Yeah,
So the suggestion I'm hearing is no matter which type phone you have for this, if you're using a smartphone, to try and just get your shot as close as you can to what you actually want,
correct.
because
Yes.
cropping is not a great thing to do.
Right,
Right.
so then
Yes,
you
cell-
only would have to
Cell
maybe
phone is
crop a little bit.
close.
Yeah. That crop a little bit. And the picture that Bob shot, I mean, he had a long focal length with that Benny shot running down the pier. but it's right out of the phone the right time. There's nothing that has to be cropped out of it. So you can shoot
Okay,
a
that-
lot
that's
in the
good.
landscape.
Yeah,
Just try to avoid the crop.
but editing the colors and anything else is okay or not?
Yes. Yes. All good. Straighten a little horizon. All those things are fine. They're not
But
gonna.
just don't do a lot of cropping. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Oh, and another thing, using a phone, if you want to zoom, try to zoom in. It's different than zooming with a regular camera because of the sensor that Ira mentioned, that the phone cameras don't have the same sense of zoom as a regular camera would.
The
So,
13 has a telephoto lens. I don't know
Yeah.
what,
well,
so there's actually a lens there that is doing telephoto,
Right,
digital as opposed to, what's the two different ones, digital and
Optical.
optical, right?
optical.
Right.
So,
It's-
so if we could really size this up, and Brenda, because you were asking some good questions too to understand, with the focal length and the zooming on a cell phone or a smartphone, always try to get, even if you've got a telephoto lens, if you don't need to go to it because you can move your feet in and get where you want to go, always make that your first option. If
Gotcha.
then you need more reach, then go to your telephoto if you have to. All right, that's what we're saying.
Like that guy swimming in the ocean, that would not have worked with a phone. Because even if I was standing at the edge of the ocean, he was way far out. So
gotcha.
doing the telephoto, it just wouldn't have,
It wouldn't work with the phone.
right?
And the
No.
thing of taking your fingers on the screen and spreading it out to zoom
Yeah.
it in, don't do it.
No,
Don't do it.
on a cell phone.
Right,
Thanks.
sure.
Okay, comments? You
Nice
lost the fl-
colors.
This one, I would have stepped back a little bit and tried to get this flag. Normally,
Yeah.
I don't care what's up there, but this flag would have had something to add.
Right.
I would content aware all that stuff in the middle on the left.
This stuff.
All that stuff, yeah, it doesn't mean anything. It's distracting.
Yeah, definitely. What about these things down here? Do you want to crop anything off the bottom or just leave it as is?
I would
No.
leave it as is because I think it tells the story.
Yeah, I'm
Otherwise,
fine
you
with
just
that.
have a shack and you don't know what it is, but that's
Right.
actually a lifeguard shack. And the board and the little running float down there and the cones are things that I guess they use in their workload. So it does tell the story. You take them out, you've just got a shack.
Yeah, no.
So,
Picture is slightly overexposed, so maybe for the orange and yellow objects in the front, since they're kind of the focal point, you could just saturate those by going into enhance and saturate the orange or saturate the yellow, so they would stand out more.
Yeah, that would make it
And
nice.
darken them a little bit.
Yeah,
There's a burn tool in Photoshop that you can burn. If you select it out, you won't go over the edge.
and the sun was probably coming right at that place. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit up. Sun from behind, but yeah, pretty. Nice framing of the pelican.
Wow.
Mm,
And is that your bird?
Nope. I'm a bird and flight girl. Most birds that I shoot these days aren't sitting.
Okay. I
I
have
like
trouble
them.
with birds that
Although
fly.
that's very pretty. It's cute. Got a little character.
Mhm.
very artistic image.
Very.
Very autistic.
I like the vignette around it too.
yeah. I was wondering whether it was a little too heavy, but I sort of like it. I think
I
it
like
makes
it.
this part better.
Mhm.
And it
Yeah.
would have been like super if there was a little more detail in here in the.
Yeah, it's a little bit blown out then.
Yeah, but this part is all good. So it's sort of,
I think the eye could be made sharper.
Wow, I think it looks real sharp.
yeah, I think it's pretty sharp.
Well, the thing is, it appears to almost have a little bit of desaturation to it because the eye on a pelican is pretty yellow. And so if the whole bird could be blown out a little bit, but yet that's not the case down with the railing or whatever. So
Yeah.
I don't know, it just could be more of the artistic treatment that kind of gave it a little more of that look. It's different. It's catchy. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah, I like it too.
And you can't see the frame. There's another frame that's here that's black.
Yeah.
That is like a step. It's recessed. The white is recessed. And when you look at it on a white field, it looks really, this black frame with the white mat is very nice. But you can't see it here because of the black.
Yeah, it almost looks like a brown frame.
Yeah.
It's matching the color of the pelican underneath.
Yeah.
But it's so pretty. Nice silhouette.
Yeah, really nice.
Yep.
Now, what's going on here with the water and her legs?
I think it's.
No,
the
it's not
sand.
water, it's sand.
Sand.
Oh,
Is
that's
that a
okay.
was that a threshold?
Yeah, it looks it.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
Is it Susan Van Ness? You
yes,
know?
it is.
It looks like her.
Looks like a,
Make sure you send it to us. It's a really cool
I
picture.
did,
Oh, did
I
you?
did. Yeah,
It's really cool. Nice job.
thank you.
Okay, so we were covering street photography as well in this. So there's 3 pictures coming up that are all street photography. Any comments on
First
this
thing I
one?
see is, why is the baby in the back unsupervised with nobody around? The baby looks like it was left back there.
No, somebody,
The little kid.
I think
Somebody
somebody's
left
pushing
behind.
the stroller. from
I'm
the
sure
back.
somebody is pushing.
I know, but you know, from what you're looking at, all you just see, it looks like the baby's just kind of sitting back there. It's like,
It was abandoned.
Don't jump to conclusions.
you know, my eyes did go to the little pink on that little one back there right away.
Well, actually, I was gonna say, I think this would be really beautiful in black and white. I think
Yes.
it would look more photojournalistic in black and white.
Oh, yeah, that would be interesting.
A lot of high contrast in it, which
Oops,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
didn't mean to do that.
Why is that doing? I hit the
Why are you
wrong
doing
arrow.
that?
There we go.
Could
It's
someone
very well
comment on the,
composed.
could
Yeah, no,
someone
it's
comment
really
on
good.
having the baby in that picture? Does it distract anyone's attention from the
It-
person?
It would be preferable if it wasn't there. I don't know if it's really bad, but it would be preferable without it, but I don't think it ruins the fiction.
Yeah, I think if you, again, if your choice, but if you made it black and white, it wouldn't pop as much. It's the pink
Yeah.
glow or whatever that really brings your eye to it.
Yeah, the pink did it for me right there. Yeah. So the black and white would be good. It's got the high contrast. It all would work, I think, well in black and white. Tells a story.
Yep. Nice.
Tells a story for sure.
Yeah, look at how he's grabbing for his hand. That's a nice touch.
I thought maybe he was picking his pocket.
That's right.
Could happen.
It does.
I think his hand would be behind over here if he was
Yeah.
picking his pocket.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Maybe a little supervision, maybe a little support. Maybe the young man in the middle might have been maybe special needs. I'm just thinking.
Challenged.
Yeah,
I thought the same thing.
That's interesting.
that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing him saying, wait a minute, hold up, don't go too far, or I'm right here, or he's almost not letting him move ahead. A
Yeah.
little- That's what I see.
This looks like the grandpa on the left,
Yeah,
the father on the right, and the father's son in the
Yeah.
middle.
Nice interpretation. Could be. Why not?
3 generations.
It's so interesting to me what, how much of a story you can make up
Yeah.
without seeing faces.
All
know,
I
it's
can
just-
tell you is Grandpa's got a good head of hair compared to the son.
Yeah.
It could be a stranger just passing them on the left.
And
on
it
the-
also
on the
looks like his hair is a
walkway.
little on the blonde side, so I'm not sure about that.
Gray. It's gray.
I know. Well, I'll go back. Let's see. Maybe the color in the Samsung is a little off. No, I'm kidding.
Nice. I like how the bridge lights frame everything going down and the whole vertical, a whole diminishing perspective down there. It's just reinforced by all these arches
Yep.
going all the way down the
I
path.
wonder where that is. Maybe it's in Europe. The buildings look different.
I think Barbara left. Barbara, you here? No, she had to leave early.
Okay.
I believe she told me this was in P-Town, and this is a couple
Okay.
that they know.
And I'm
So
thinking,
so much for your story interpretations.
yeah, I'm looking at that brown building in the back that looks like a typical building in the US with the brickwork.
Over here.
So I was gonna say, nah, it's US.
Huh.
But, yeah.
What'd she say it was?
in Provincetown.
Oh,
I love this picture.
It's interesting.
is that from Miami?
Lorraine, are you still
From
here?
Little Havana.
Yeah, that's what it looks
Mhm.
like, Little Havana.
Is he sketching her?
Yes.
Yeah. And
So
she's
it's
like,
He's sharp, he's sharp, she isn't sharp.
You're right, he is sharper.
How can you tell it's Little Havana?
Just, I don't know.
It's all in English. What I see.
Well, he's got the
Just
character.
thought because of the way the brick was.
He's sitting outside a store that has obviously got some artwork in the windows. She looks like if he's sketching her, it's kind of strange that her eyes are closed. That's
yeah, it is really strange.
She
Like-
might have blinked.
Probably get.
She
Yeah,
blinked at the time.
She might have blinked.
I'm gonna say this.
The
if
little
she's
sign
blinking-
on the easel says that he does caricatures.
Yep. And I'd say she wasn't blinking because the shutter speed is slow because it's a little soft. So I don't know, maybe.
Hmm.
Maybe. It's interesting though. Little colored pens on the table is
And this little guy in the back here with the red hat.
catching him. He looks like he's sleeping too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yep,
yeah, it's nice.
definitely tells a story.
Yep.
Nice. Nice street photography.
Okay, here you go. See how many things that from the comments that people made. Okay, so on this one, the comments were maybe a little more saturation, crop out these things on the side. So I cropped out to remove those smudges and I clicked on haze removal. That's all I did.
You know, that line down the middle is easy to take out with an eraser.
Yeah. This over here. It became more prominent when I did that.
Yes.
But look at the difference in
The
the
healing
colors.
brush will work too.
Look at the difference in the colors in the umbrella. I mean, literally one click. Okay, so Ira, I cropped this out right away.
Thank you. Yeah.
I did the haze removal thing because this is by the beach. So there's moisture droplets in the air. I darkened it a little bit and increased the contrast. And the next thing I was going to do was do the saturation thing, but I didn't. But even with those minor things, look at the difference in the
You might take out the flag, you can't take out the pole, but you can take
Yeah.
out the flag.
That's a good idea. Because then you wouldn't be wondering about what the rest of it looked like.
Right.
I would lighten up the window a little bit because you lost the lifeguard that's up in the window.
There's also a guy sitting here, which I didn't even notice before. There's two
I didn't miss
people.
him, but
There's
I
somebody
did
in the
think that,
window
but
and
yeah.
somebody here. So yes, 100%. I should have lassoed those areas so they wouldn't be affected by the things
Yeah.
that I did. All I did here was crop, just like Ann was talking about. Maybe I took out more than she would have liked on this side. But I cropped both sides
Yep,
and I just clicked on haze removal.
different picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, much better picture.
Isn't there a way to make more sky if you don't have enough sky?
Yeah, if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's hard. I think I did it once.
And on that one, because it's such a flat sky with a white gray sky, it'd be easy to do without any issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, just increase the canvas size. Yep.
Okay, this one I did 3 things. So this is your original. I straightened it. I did the haze removal. I think it made the sky too
Yeah.
much, but I didn't have time to fuss with it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
brightened it a little bit, but the building is now straight. Remember what I was saying about this being equal to this? I just straightened it and this building came out perfectly. But then I thought, who needs all this part, the whole building and this ugly part on the top? So then I cropped it.
It's better. It's
You,
nice.
you, you need to take out that blue in the upper left, to the left of the
Over
kite.
here. Well, I think
Yeah.
if I toned the blue down, it wouldn't be as much, but yeah. And I took off some of the sand. And someone had said that also when we were doing the comments.
Still think there's too much sky.
Yeah, but you really can't take out too
Yeah,
much.
that's
or
right.
You lose the kite.
Yes, you
That's
lose
the
whatever that is, the kite.
Right.
The
Yeah,
kite.
if it didn't have the kite, you could definitely crop off the whole top, but the whole kite is the whole part of it.
You can actually move it if you select.
I
it
knew
out
you
Yeah.
were gonna
and
say
drop
that.
it
Move
down.
move
Yeah.
the kite down.
The
I would
concept
do
here
that.
was one click. The concept here was
I
one
know,
click.
we're doing a Picasso, but I would select the thing and drop it down like an inch.
Right.
Get rid of more of the sky because,
Just,
These
Sounds
are
like
one,
a-
these are one click edits,
okay,
just for the point, just for the purpose of this, to try to get you guys to do some editing.
And some of these people have iPhones, they're not gonna edit like that, so that's.
right, that's for sure.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you that if I shoot pictures with my phone, I still put them in my computer because I can't see them on my phone
I
for
agree.
editing, you know?
But you
I
can,
do
you can
the
still
same.
straighten and brighten and.
Yeah,
I
little
do
things.
that.
Um,
That brings me to a question for you, Adrian, or for anybody. So if I take the photo with my camera, with my phone, and put it on my computer, do more editing on that photo than I could in the phone, would I have a problem with pixels when I put it on the phone, on the computer?
No. The only thing, you, and some of your edits might actually add a little bit of pixel to it. The only thing that would ever affect it with regard to the thing we're most interested in is cropping. So,
Yeah, all of these things that I did didn't have any effect on the pixels. In fact, Anne's right. I think I wound up with more.
correct.
It was under 1 megabyte when I started, and I think it wound up being 1.5 megabytes when I finished.
So just remember no cropping, if I possibly can.
Right, or minimal.
Minimal, straighten the horizon out, just
Right,
minimal.
okay.
Yep.
That's it.
thank
Nice
you.
job, Adrian.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank
Sorry I
you.
was late.
thanks for coming,
Thank
and I'll
you.
see you guys on January 4th. I'll be
Okay.
sending out more info.
Happy New
Thank
Year.
you.
Thank
Okay.
you, Adrian.
Happy, healthy New
Happy,
Year.
healthy New Year, everybody.
Everybody,
Yeah, thank you.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doris.